So we tap the brake, and it automatically goes in reverse. Are you recording them?
Mm-hmm.
When we put in the where we want to go, so we say, I got to go forward first. I wonder if I just need a brake. Go forward, forward, and then this. And then we put in Cheesecake Factory.
Usually you do this when you're in the driveway and not in the middle of the street.
Lincolnshire. It's on behind me. Trip, and then push the button. Oh, yeah, bell to go forward, and then push the button. And she's good to go. Yeah, tap the accelerator to tell her to go. You see the whole steering wheel?
Now turn right into country play.
So this is 12.5. Gotta hold that camera up for 29 minutes.
Now turn right onto East Sand Lake Road.
Now, every once in a while it says pay attention, and what you want to do is you want to look at the camera that's up here so that it knows you're paying attention. Looking through your eyes. Now, the way I like it, here's the next one. The way I like to drive with full self-driving is I let it do most of the driving, and what I concentrate on is I try to look at things that we refer to her as that she cannot see. So, for instance, she can't see people's facial expressions in cars. So what I'll do is I'll look at a car when we're coming up, like this car over here on the right. I'll be looking for their eyes, make sure they can see us. Okay. I also will look at their tires to see if they start rotating. So the goal is that I can be ahead of the car. So the goal, and it's just like when you're flying a plane, you always want to be a couple of steps ahead of the plane. But when you're driving full self-driving, you always want to be a couple of steps ahead of the car. So you want to be thinking of things that she's probably not thinking of. Now, when you're stopped here, there's really not much to do. But as you come up to an intersection or whatever, you'll be looking at things that maybe she wouldn't be paying attention to. Sort of hard to explain. But what I'm always doing is I'm scanning out in the windshield, looking at the screen, scanning out in the windshield. 90% of my time is out in the windshield, or on either side, and about 10% of my time is looking at the screen. The only time I ever really look at the screen is when I expect her to be stopping. So you'll see it when these cars up here stop. What I'll do is I'll just do a quick glance at the screen just to make sure that she plans on stopping, which she'll indicate with the blue line. The blue line will turn white chevrons. Now you need to keep recording. I'll edit out the boring part. Actually, I don't edit out the boring parts. I just fast forward through them. But you need to keep recording. If your arm gets dirty, you can rest it on the chair. Glare is probably really bad. Now this is hands-free, so there's no steering wheel nag. So like now I can see the chevrons. So I'm just doing a quick check before she even starts to slow down that she sees the car and she intends to stop, and she tells me that on the screen. You can do that in an instant. Again, always being 3 or 4 steps ahead of the car. So this is full hands-free. There's no steering wheel nag anymore. You don't actually have to touch the steering wheel, but you do occasionally have to look up at the camera up there, so she knows you're not asleep. Of course, it's supervised full self-driving, which means you always need to be ready to take the steering wheel, but more importantly, hit the brake. Not that different from being teaching someone how to drive, right? The instructor doesn't actually have a steering wheel. All they have is a brake. So I like to keep my foot close to the brake, not necessarily the brake. In situations where if there's a lot of things going on, I'll actually put my foot over the brake. You want to be really careful not to actually touch the brake because that will disconnect full self-driving. Also, turning the steering wheel too much will disconnect full self-driving. And I think that's probably the biggest problem people have is actually disengage full self-driving under a panic situation accident.
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto North Hunt Club Road.
Now, your car didn't charge, that's nice. We might, I don't remember, were there chargers in Lincolnshire?
Now turn right onto North Hunt Club Road.
I don't know. You got the.
Yeah, we don't need, we got 166 miles. Thinking if there were chargers, maybe it's not enough. So this is a 2024 Model 3 with hardware 4, which is why it's got FSD 12.5. Yeah, full self-driving 12.5. Now, I would hold the camera, but if the camera, I would hold the camera that's doing the recording. If this camera up here sees you with your phone, it doesn't like that. It'll tell you to pay attention.
In 500 feet, turn left onto Grand Avenue.
You think the boys will remember to shut the garage door?
I already did.
Now turn left onto Grand Avenue.
I'm going to get on the tollway. And actually ask for my phone back because I might have to charge it. So record all the way up till we get on the tollway. Although I want to get recording on the tollway. It's 12.5. It has a new stack tollway. Yeah. What's the percentage charge? Does it say on the phone?
No, I'm recording.
Yeah, I know, but like, does it say it towards the top? Is there no percentage charge?
It's just green.
Don't mess
I
with
can't see. I can't see.
You getting out the windshield too?
Mm-hmm.
Video I took the other day, you can see my shoulder. You gotta take that plastic off that screen. Clear so you can see that.
I like it.
Well, couldn't we just get you a proper screen protector?
Well, as soon as you give me a proper screen protector.
Okay.
500 feet, take the Interstate 94 east ramp on the right. Now take the Interstate 94 east ramp on the right.
So FSD does a really good job of using the signals. Of course, whenever it uses the signal, you get the blind spot camera pops up. So you keep an eye on that. Uh, Double check that it's working perfect. So, so that that's the driving mode. Look, three on the road, it's going around it. Let's change lanes automatically based on the speed that you got it set to. In this case, I didn't set the speed. It's picking its own speed based on the traffic. So it's in 100% automation. You can also manually control the speed if you want to do that with the joystick thing here. This is an example of where I'm paying attention. Look at what this car's doing, that car, keep my eyeballs peeled. Blind spot camera. Quick check just to make sure there's nothing there. It's a lot smoother than 12 up ramp. I have to lane changing isn't as bad as it used to be. So she's got 8 cameras all around her. Give her a 360-degree view. There's 2 cameras on the sides of the car, see about 80 meters out, and have about 90-degree field of view. There's 3 cameras in the front, up underneath this, looking out the windshield. Those 3 cameras provide about 120 degree field of view and see about 250 meters. There's actually, each camera has a different lens, so each camera can see a different distance out. And then, of course, there's 3 cameras looking backwards. So those 3 cameras are primarily for lane changing. Those are the blind spot cameras on the side. They're located in the front, the front of the Peters, front fender of the car, looking backwards, called the Peters. And then the 2 side-looking cameras are actually mounted in the B pillars here. Radar, ultrasonic sensors, it's all being done via cameras and artificial intelligence. The most advanced artificial intelligence that you can buy right now. I want to thank Kelly. I want to thank Kelly for letting me drive her car. She never lets me. So if you're a private pilot, very familiar with this particular arrangement. As the person sitting in the driver's seat, you're the pilot in command. You're the one who's responsible for flight. Even if you're not directly manipulating the controls, you are still ultimately responsible. And same applies here. It's supervised full self-driving. I am responsible, even though the car is manipulating. No different from being a flight instructor or even using autopilot. here, it's telling me what it's doing. It's changing lanes to follow route, maintaining speed for traffic flow. I have used every form of communication I can think of to us, the full self-driving team, add an option so that it verbalizes
In the
that.
line, take exit 21 on the right onto Half Day Road.
I think it'd be great if it, instead of having to read the screen, if it actually told you changing lanes. Now, obviously, you would want to be able to turn that off after you got used to the system. But for when you're first learning the system, when you're first getting used to how it works, how it quote thinks, having the verbal, you know, a verbal indication of what it plans to do would be really helpful. This is that was very smooth, and it got past the very smooth. See, older versions of FSD, at least with 12.4.3, tended to wait forever to merge. That was smooth. What do you think? That was really smooth compared to my car.
Now take exit 21.
I think your car would have stopped with a motorcycle too.
Yeah, I think so. That was very.
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto Half Day Road.
So this is what differentiates the Tesla solution
Now turn right onto Half Day
in
Road.
terms of functionality. So the Tesla solution is completely different from everything else, in that it's a full AI from end to end. It's from camera to controls is all AI. So no one else is doing it. So, but the other thing that differentiates FSD from the competitors is that none of the other systems actually work off the highway. So even Mercedes quote level 3 certified system only works on certain highways, and it only works up to 40 some odd miles an hour, and you have to be following another car. It's a marketing gimmick. It's not real. This is real. This is real full self. The argument about liability is a valid argument. That's not Tesla's problem. The regulatory agencies need to get their shit together and figure out how they're going to regulate this. Four more minutes is where I'm getting tired.
Mm-mm.
You were at exactly 2 o'clock. You're right in time.
Yeah, that's why we didn't need to leave a whole hour early.
Well, I originally wanted to go to Walgreens with you.
I already went.
Yeah.
I was bored. I decided to go.
She sees it, no problem. Probably can't see it with the camera that far back. The actual car here, the actual brake lights come on, the graphic representation, and the brake lights come up here. So you know, it's a great indication that you know she sees the brake lights. Review. All the way up until if she parks again like she did. That's new too. That's pretty cool. One of the problems with FSD all along has been parking lots. It's just parking lots it'll get you into the parking lot, it'll get you out of the parking lot, but once you're in the parking lot, usually you have to take manual control to get to a parking space, and then once you tell it which parking space you want to go to, it'll park automatically. Now, this latest version,
In 1,000 feet, turn left onto
when we
Milwaukee
tested it
Avenue.
yesterday, it actually not only did it pull into the parking lot, it pulled into a parking space, and it pulled in forward, which never comes. It's always on backwards, back into the parking spot. So what I tell Kel is, I trust full self-driving. Okay, I trust that it is not going to hurt me. Between all the safety measures within the car, Teslas are top-rated safety picks.
Now turn left onto Milwaukee Avenue.
They're all top. They're all excellent, best in class in terms of safety. So I'm not worried about that. And full self-driving is more than safe. But what I do worry about is that full self-driving could possibly hurt the paint. So it always errs on the side of safety, and sometimes that means that it may scratch the paint. Now that's never actually happened, but of the very few times, less than 4 or 5 times that I have had to disengage, it hasn't been for safety. It's actually always been at really slow speeds, but it has to be that I was worried about it scratching the paint. And that's reasonable that the system would put safety above everything else. But especially this car, I really like this paint. The blue looks fantastic. The blue paint with the white interior, amazing car. Of course, mine with red paint and black interior looks pretty damn good too. So did you want to record this one and let me drive because you didn't want to be in the video again?
Mm-hmm.
Did Dad see the other video?
I haven't talked to my dad.
I gotta post the one you did yesterday.
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto Parkway Drive. Now turn right onto Parkway Drive. In 500 feet, your destination will be on the left.
Don't worry about it.
Who's this?
It's just a minute. We're gonna be there in 2 minutes. Okay. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, look, it's pulling in the drop-off area. That's
Okay.
pretty cool.